All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. Just hold out a little bit longer. Lunch is about an hour away, but hopefully got some nibbles for you to chew on here. I guess first and foremost, Salesforce is a publicly traded company. All the magical unicorns and things you're going to see here at TDX, please make your purchasing decisions based on the horses that we have in the stable. And here today we're here to talk about switching with style with Lightning Stylesheets for Visualforce. My name is Doug Molidor. I'm a senior UX engineer on the design systems team here at Salesforce. I'm an art school kid who learned how to program by himself, so that's basically where you put people like me, is in design systems teams. So I got this wild thought, but I have a feeling that you're all here because you got Visualforce pages. So before we get started, I want to get a better sense of the audience. So who here has made the leap to Lightning? Who's migrated? All right, excellent. And who's thinking about it, planning, who's getting ready? Excellent, excellent. Well, who wants to know how to make that process faster? Great. Well, we got something to show you today. So I've got this newly migrated org, and I'm looking at this list page, list view. I got this object record page, and they look great because these pages belong in the Lightning experience. They appear analogous with the same colors, typography, spacing, and that's all thanks to the Salesforce Lightning design system. That is until I look at my custom Visualforce page within the Lightning experience. You can see the visual scene where the Lightning ends and the classic begins. And this provides us with an opportunity for improvement. It raises the question, what do I do about styling all these Visualforce pages that I have that have the classic look and feel with them? So now you can have your pages how you want, right? We're not forcing you to restyle all your pages when you migrate. But let's assume you don't want to leave it like that. You want to have a unified experience. You want the pages in your org to resemble so you can have it your way, or you want the pages in your org to kind of look something like this. Something that's modern and harmonious and really fast looking. Now, folks like me work within Salesforce, so you have the options and tools to replace things with Lightning technologies. And so one example of that is Lightning components. You can use Lightning Out to get Lightning components into your Visualforce page. It's a great flexible option, but most likely involves touching things on the functionality side. There's the Lightning design system. One reason the design system was created was so that we could promote the effort and give you the means to create a unified experience in your org. It's all HTML, so you're just messing with the front-end code. And that's great. We want to embrace Lightning and all. It's great, but unlike that org that we just saw, you might have tons of Visualforce pages, just more than you can deal with, and hardly the resources to go and style and rebuild all of them to look like Lightning. If I had a pot of coffee and a quiet morning, I might be able to get one page done, but that's just one page. So that's why there's this new method that we got cooked up for it that'll get your unified experiences faster. It's called Lightning Stylesheets for Visualforce. With the addition of a single attribute on your Visualforce page, you can instantly get to the Lightning experience. I'll show you how easy it is to do right now. And then we'll look at extending the feature with the design system. And also, I got a cool little Chrome extension. So let me get into a live org here and show you this feature. Actually, I got more space. All right, so I've got the page that we were seeing before with that showed the scene. And here I've got this little simple form and a list view that's got the classic look and feel. I'm going to go and open my developer console. Sorry there. All right. And all it is adding lightning style sheets equals true to the page. That should have us saved. And when I refresh the page, I've got lightning on that page. And if you don't believe me, I got a whole other org here, whole other page, whole bunch of related lists, details, things like this. I'm going to go in here. And on refresh, all these other components get styled just like lightning. Pretty magical, huh? So we'll go back in here. So if you remember anything coming out of this talk, it's that lightning style sheets equals true. So behind that magic that you just saw, basically what we're doing is we're removing all the previous style sheets that went into the classic experience and replace them with this newly built style sheet that retroactively styles the existing Visualforce components so that they look like lightning. With this feature, your custom CSS is untouched. You can have style tags in there. It doesn't mess with those. You can have other CSS files that you bring in there. It doesn't mess with those. Just takes the Visualforce style sheets that were already there and replaces them. And also, if this page needs to be looked at in Classic, it still retains the classic look and feel. So only when this page is in Lightning with Lightning style sheets equals true does the page look like Lightning. So if you got folks that are still in Classic, they're not getting a hunk of lightning inside their Aloha experience. So to be able to achieve this previously, you would need to start from scratch, right? You drastically rework the page, put in all new HTML, style it with CSS overrides and whatnot. But most importantly, what this feature does is it allows you to save time. Allows you to go and make your own magic. Allows you to go and extend this page, build new features onto your page. So how would you do that? What if you enabled Lightning style sheets and found that there's something that you wanted to noodle, change it, or add that whole new feature? You've got the Lightning design system for that. And there, you've got resources that are built, are there to create user interfaces. It's grounded with the Salesforce Lightning principles of clarity, efficiency, consistency, and beauty. It's got a familiar, consistent, intuitive design language. And it's backed by thousands of hours of user research best practices. And it's chock full of guidelines, components, and utilities, copy and paste code that's accessibility vetted, and valid. The HTML comes out of there. And it's all styled with the design system framework that's already in your org. So in order to get Lightning design system into your Visualforce page, you want to use the Apex SLDS tag. And this is a tag that came out about a year ago, and basically allows you to have the latest version of the Lightning design system style sheets inside your Visualforce page without having to update it every time something gets, every time a version goes up. And it's scoped, so you have the ability to style your whole page or just a part of it. So I'm going to go back to the org that we were looking at. And so what I have going on in my opportunities here is I've created this custom object that I'm calling a descriptive image. And it just basically allows me to have an image that I can apply a title and a longer description to. And in this, luxurious vintage car restoration company that I'm pretending to be right here, those descriptive images are pretty important. I got a custom job coming in. I want to know, I want to have visual references and then descriptive text to go along with those images. So I've got them kind of related to my org, or to this record here. They're sitting here in related lists, and I want a way to kind of bring them to the forefront. I've created this form that allows me to upload those photos, but I want to see those photos. And this list view is not doing it. Still, I just don't have that visual to go along with the text, right? So what I can do, or what I've got is the Lightning design system. And inside the Lightning design system, there's this cool carousel component. And it might be exactly what I need. So how do I go about getting this into that page? And I'm going to show you here. Looking at this carousel, here's all the code that you need to, it shows an example of the carousel. This is just the code, so you need to, kind of wire up your own functionality. But when you do wire up the functionality, there's guidelines in here on, how to set up autoplay, and especially for accessibility. That's one thing that we're going to kind of touch on as we go through the demo here. But yeah, first things first, what I want to do is I want to go back into that org. I'm going to open up my console here. And so I've already got Lightning style sheets equals true. It's the one thing you need that you'll be tested on later. And so good practice is going into developing with the Apex SLDS, or if you're going to continue to develop in Lightning on your Visualforce pages, is to, with the Apex SLDS tag, you got to do some of this page prepping, I'm calling it. So in your Apex page, I'm bringing in kind of a handful of attributes here that basically hides my headers, hides my body tag, hides my HTML tag, so that I can control those elements when I'm coding the page. So with that, real quick, I'm going to get that basic structure down. Thank you. Yeah, unfortunately, you can't have more Lightning that way, though. I want an attribute that does all this for me. All right, so in my head tag, then, that's where I can go and apply my Apex SLDS. And one thing about this tag, I'm going to bring this in here for my completed example. But I'm adding this rendered attribute to my Apex SLDS. And what that does is it conditionally renders that tag depending on the evaluation of this expression here. So this user.ui theme equals theme 4D, that tells me if this theme is in Lightning then render the tag. Otherwise, don't render it in the case that someone in Classic is viewing this. You don't want to convert their whole page to the Lightning experience when they're sitting in Classic. They want a Classic experience. So with that, and then one other thing I want to prep is along those same lines. Oh, I got a little ahead of myself. Then what I want to do is on my body, I want to add this class called SLDS scope. So when I mentioned that the Apex SLDS tag is scoped, what that does is you can apply this class to whatever wrapper that will contain your Lightning Design System components, and that way if you have Visualforce components sitting next to Lightning Design System components, kind of like what we're doing here, it might be to your advantage to kind of just have just a div with just your Lightning components inside of that instead of doing it at the body level. For now, I'm just going to put it at the body level, so like everything will have access to the styles in the Lightning Design System. But yeah, that's one tip there is sometimes when you're mixing Visualforce with Lightning, it'll break if you scope too broadly, basically. So then another thing I want to do here is create an output panel here, and I'm going to bring this rendered attribute into that as well. And so this output panel here is what's going to hold the carousel that I'm going to bring in from the design system. And again, this is just a design decision I'm making, but I don't want to show this carousel on the Classic side, just because the styling and whatnot. Just when I'm in Lightning is only when I want to see this carousel. So I've got my page set up. I'm going to go back to the Lightning Design System site, click this button, get that code. I'll drop it in there and save it out. So now if we look at my page, I should get something. Even if it's a blue screen. And that's what's up. Yep, thank you. One other thing I need to add here is what's causing this error here is basically I've got an icon from the Lightning Design System that's being brought in, and I need to, wrong tag, I'm sorry. I want to add these XML namespace attributes to my HTML tag that I'm creating, and that is necessary in order for the icons in the Lightning Design System, which are SVGs, to render in your page. So when I save this now I've got to confirm save. All right, so obviously like the image refs from the Lightning Design System site aren't going to show up here, but we know something's working because we've got, these panel indicators, the carousel indicators, are looking just like they did in the example page on the Design System site. So what do I need to do now? I need to get the images into this carousel. What I've got down here at the bottom of the page is I've got my descriptive images kind of just rendered out at the bottom of the page. So kind of like that functionality I've already kind of cooked up here. So what I'm doing is I basically have it in a Visualforce Apex repeat tag, iterating through all the descriptive images that are related to my opportunity and rendering them out. So I'm going to look up here in my carousel code here. And so looking at the carousel panels here, right? So in here, there's I'm bringing in 3 from the design system. And all I really do is need 1 kind of as a template, right? So I'm going to take these other 2 out. Let's save that. Excuse me. I'm just going to take that repeat block and bring it in here. And then I want to essentially meld that with the template that came in from the Lightning Design System site. So kind of real quick, it'd be a matter of taking this template code, putting it within this apex repeat, and then I'll take my image, put it in there. This is for the image title and for the image description. All right, now we got something showing up here. So this is the image that is related to my opportunity, but now it's in the carousel here. So I just got to go and like wire up these indicators as well, and we'll pretty much be set. So I'm going to it's kind of like the same process. What I did here, I need another apex repeat within this list here for these indicators. But I'm going to go and just take the finished product here. And put that into place. And then one other thing I just want to do is I'm going to take the completed panels from my completed example and put it in here. Because now that we've got this all working or looking good. All right, so I've got my completed panels in there, just pasted those in there because I want to move on to the next thing with layout. Another thing to point out is back in the design system website, there was all these great callouts, kind of like accessibility gotchas and things like that, and the carousel kind of really relies on your accessibility attributes to be kind of correct in order to display the right things. So just real quick, what I've done in here is I've got an index iterator in my iterator. So I'm kind of just determining which one is visible at that point and kind of toggling these different accessibility attributes based on that. So ARIA hidden, if it's the first one, because on initial load, your JavaScript will kind of change these when you wire in your functionality, but just for the display purposes here, I've got these little expressions peppered into the code to make sure that my accessibility is up to snuff. All right, so we got this thing where we got the carousel, but it's kind of going wall to wall, and we kind of want to contain it, right? So really quick, we can go to the Lightning Design System site again. And there we got some grids. And this is a pretty comprehensive manual on how you can lay out your pages how you want them. And in our case, we want to kind of create say like a 2-column approach here. Say maybe have the carousel on one side and in the other column, leave that open for now, but at least have a way to contain my carousel, but also lay it out and have it a little bit more predictable in how it lays out. So in that method, you want to use essentially this SLDS grid here, but then these column divs here with these size attributes, kind of like do 1 of 12, 1 of 6, kind of gives you a real easy way to figure out how big your columns will be. So I'm going to just grab this code real quick. I was thinking at the top of my page here. So as I was saying, I was just going to make this like kind of half the column width. So in this div, I'm just going to give it size 1 of 2. Find the bottom of my carousel, close that out, and I'm just going to put the other 1 of 2 div in there for use later. Hopefully, I'm not terminating something. All right.
You're missing one more closing div at the end after the ones you put.
Oh, thank you. That should do it. There we go. Carousel is now kind of half of the column width, and I've basically implemented my feature within 15 minutes here in front of y'all. So before I let you go, I got one other surprise to show you. And so going back to Lightning style sheets equals true, while we were developing the style sheets, the CSS for this, we needed a way to see what we were building and see how it worked when applied to a live org. It's kind of hard to bring a live org in locally, at least when you're doing what we're doing with CSS. And so we created this Chrome extension that we're going to release out to the public as soon as we can clear some hurdles. And it essentially allows you to see what your Visualforce page will look like without even touching the code. So if you're not technical, or something you can give to your boss, be like, just go through the Visualforce pages and see how they look, and tell me what I need to do. But yeah, essentially it's this little thing here. I've got a page here, kind of essentially what we've been seeing before. And the extension gives you a panel here that lets you see all the style sheets that are actually being injected into that Visualforce page right now. So if you got custom styles and things like that, the extension will call those out. And when you go and apply Lightning style sheets, there's the feature. Basically happening right on your page without touching the line of code. And if you've got custom styles, those can be toggled back on. For example, say like that, and, to see kind of like how your custom styles play with the Lightning style sheets. And that's it. Thanks for coming along with me on this journey. And we've got about 10 minutes for Q&A. So if anybody's got any questions, if you've messed with the feature before, got some, you need some support, some hands-on support, let me know. Thank you. Hi.
What's the plugin's name?
The plugin's name? We should hold a contest, I think. It's what? Yeah. So when you're looking for it, we'll let you know when it's published. Yeah. Yeah, we're hoping that when it gets pushed out, then kind of like those same channels that you're looking, the success community, things like that, will kind of put something out to promote the release of the Chrome extension.
Is the Lightning Stylesheets tag, is that GA now, or is that coming soon?
It's going to be GA next release. It's available right now though in beta. So yeah, you can open up your computer right now and apply it.
All right, cool, thanks.
No problem. Thank you. Oh, hi.
Style sheets, but so like when you had the carousel image up, and it kind of like expanded the whole carousel, like in some other frameworks, there's like a image fluid or image responsive kind of thing. Like, is there anything like that in Lightning Design System?
Yeah, actually, in the design system, the image should be fluid. I think what's going on is in that example that I was showing, I was hard coding something that I shouldn't have.
Yeah, that might do it.
Yeah, so I think having that max height on there.
But it normally is like standard.
Yeah, so that image now is just essentially a bare image. Might be styled as a child of the carousel. Let me make sure of that. But I know that at the base level, the image tag is kind of 100% width with auto height.
Okay, sweet, cool, awesome, thank you.
No problem. Hi.
Hello. About Lightning Design System, is there a plan to add the stencils style into the framework?
Sorry?
The stencils styles.
Extension styles?
When you are trying to load something in the screen?
Oh,
you show stencils?
like with the carousel?
Yes.
Yeah, those styles are brought in by using the Apex SLDS tag. So really, so I'm able to use classes like this because I brought in this tag into my page. So that essentially brings in another CSS file style sheet that contains all the Lightning Design System classes that you can then use to apply to your HTML. No problem.
If I'm using an Apex include tag and I'm embedding another Visualforce page inside a Visualforce page, will this still work? Will both the page have the Lightning styles, or will it just be independent?
Yeah,
It will, right?
Styles will, the new Lightning styles will apply to both pages.
For the pages, okay. And if I have, say, some chart components that has its own styling on the pages, and if I include this tag, will those still remain intact, or will
Are you using the Apex chart component? Like
no, chart changes. It's something different here.
Yeah, yeah. So any style sheets that you add to the page within the Apex page, any style sheets that you add are still included.
Okay. And if it's an Apex chart component, that should matter at all.
Yeah, Apex chart uses like SVGs to render, so it should be okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no problem. Glad I got you in the front row there, Mike. Excellent.